Hello there, very good evening. This is Primetime News on TV1. We are coming to you live and direct from the Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. Bringing you the news, I'm Tarushi Kumar Singha.
And I'm Arundhati Mudan Nayaka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
President endorses documents for the extradition of Arjuna Mahendran from Singapore. Meeting between Ranil and Sajid to reach final decision on presidential candidate. A revelation by Gaumini Jayavikrama. MP Vimal Veeravansa makes another revelation on suspicious US citizens at a hotel in Colombo. Absence of government ministers and MPs stall parliamentary sessions.
And now the stories in detail. President Maithripala Sirisena today signed documents related to the extradition of former governor of the central bank, Arjuna Mahendran, from Singapore to Sri Lanka.
A report containing more than 21,000 pages prepared by the Attorney General has been submitted to the relevant department in Singapore for the extradition. The President scrutinized related documents and placed his signature as the Minister of Defence. Steps will be taken to transmit these documents to Singapore through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs soon.
In more bond scam related news now, Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan, who had been following the bond scam since 2015, reports from opposite the Central Bank of Sri Lanka.
The growth rate of Sri Lanka before 2014 was just around 7%, but right now it's just struggling to reach top of 3%. Now, according to experts, the reason for this is the central bank bond scam, which took place 4.5 years ago, back in 2015. To be exact, 27th February 2015. Now, Sri Lanka's growth rate is way below the levels of our neighbors, including Bhutan, Pakistan, Bangladesh and other countries in the region. Now, today, a very important day where the President signed the request for extradition of fugitive ex-Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran. Now, let me take you back to what happened in 2015. On the 27th of February 2015, the controversial bond scam took place. As public outcry and media uproar took place, the Prime Minister was forced to appoint the Pitipana Committee, a 3-member committee, to examine this incident, and they reported in a very brief file with just a matter of few pages. They said nothing happened. However, as public outcry grew, as the media continued to report on this, the due Gunasekara-led COPE investigated the matter. However, that report never came to light, and thereafter in 2016 the Sunil Handunnetty COPE report came to light, and it was tabled in Parliament, and in that report it clearly states Arjuna Mahendran had committed an offence and the bond scam in fact took place. However, those responsible, those who were named in this, continue to deny their involvement in the bond scam, and thereafter the President was compelled to appoint the Presidential Commission of Inquiry in 2017, and for almost a year they investigated this bond scam, a very complex matter, a very sophisticated matter, but fortunately they managed to uncover many details and successfully presented a report in early 2018. 2018, a very important year. On Independence Day, Arjun Aloysius and Kasun Palisena, CEO and beneficial owner of PTL, were arrested and remanded for almost 11 months. They were charged with conspiring to commit the bond scam with fugitive central bank governor Arjuna Mahendran. Now, during this whole time, Arjuna Mahendran was missing. And when Parliament was investigating this, when COPE was investigating this, the Prime Minister was questioned, where is Arjuna Mahendran? And he said at one occasion, Mahendran had gone for wedding and assured his return. But after the Presidential Commission of Inquiry presented its report, the former central bank governor was nowhere to be found. And thereafter, a case was filed with the Magistrates Court, warrants were issued for his arrest, and the CID thereafter resorted to securing a red notice from Interpol for the arrest of Arjuna Mahendran. And now, today, the President signed the 21,000-page extradition request. Let me emphasize that number, 21,000 pages in the extradition request to seek the extradition of Arjuna Mahendran from Singapore. And these documents will be sent to Singapore, and everyone wants those responsible, no matter what position they hold. If you are responsible for the central bank treasury bond scam, those people must be brought before the law and punished accordingly.
The US Embassy in Colombo issued a statement over an incident where the luggages of a group of Americans who visited a leading hotel in Colombo on the 30th of July were not allowed to be screened. National Freedom Front leader MPV Malvirawansa, speaking to reporters today, said by making such a statement, the American mission had accepted an incident of this nature had in fact taken place.
After the incident was exposed, the US Embassy in Colombo issued a statement admitting to the incident. The statement notes there was a misunderstanding. The US Embassy must reveal the contents of those bags, and why did they not allow the bags to be screened? One cannot say there was no incident. If you are admitting to an incident, tell us what happened to those bags. This is not a country where Americans or people from any other country can act as they please. There may be countries which operate to the tune of the Americans, but Sri Lanka will not be a country like that. They must reveal why the group was here with those bags. They must not evade this issue. We urge the US Embassy to reveal the details. What's even more surprising is the government is yet to make a statement on this matter even after we exposed it. There is no need to sign the SOFA or Status of Forces Agreement because they are already enjoying the benefits. They come into the country in their own planes and are not screened. If the personnel at Hilton had agreed to allow the bags to pass security without any screening, this matter would never have been revealed. According to information available, the group was in Sri Lanka for almost 2 weeks. Why were they here? What did they bring? What were the contents of those bags? And who were they given to? Does this not affect national security? The government is one which failed to secure the security of the state.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General's Department today at the Colombo High Court strongly opposed the Colombo Chief Magistrate's decision to grant bail to ex-Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and IGP Pujit Jayasundara, who was sent on compulsory leave. Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piris in his submission said the Chief Magistrate's order is in violation of the law.
DSG Dilip Piris said granting bail to the suspects even when the Criminal Investigations Department pointed out the duo were arrested for investigations upon the advice of the Attorney General, the Chief Magistrate had not given due regard to the advice of the AG to CID. Colombo High Court Judge Vikum Kaluarachi, speaking in open court, said there is an issue as to whether the Magistrates Court has jurisdiction to disregard the AG's advice. The High Court Judge made this statement while examining the revision application filed by the CID on the bail order given by the Colombo Chief Magistrate on the 9th of July, at a time when investigations were taking place against Hemasiri Fernando and Pujit Jayasundara on murder charges for committing a crime by seriously evading their duties. DSG Dilip Piris said the magistrate without base granted bail without calling for reports on the investigations and the medical reports of the suspects who admitted themselves in hospitals when they were to be produced in court. He stressed the Attorney General is not prepared to allow actors of various stature to use court as a theatrical stage. DSG Dilip Piris further said the learned magistrate Lanka Jayaratna had granted bail without giving due regard to the advice of the AG to the CID. He pointed out the bail order by the magistrate had caused an obstruction to the CID investigations, and if such an order is accepted, it would be impossible to institute legal action against any state official who evades their duties. DSG Piris informed court, based on reasons presented in his complete submission, the only irresistible inference is the ex-Secretary of Defence and the IGP conspired with the terrorists. The matter was postponed to the 18th of September.
United National Party parliamentarians and ministers met with party leader Ranil Wickremesinghe today for talks.
The discussion, which started at around 10 this morning, saw the participation of UNP General Secretary Akila Vilaj Karyawasam, UNP Chairman Kabir Hashim, Gamini Jayavikrama Pereira, Daya Gamage, Malik Samra Vikrama and Sarath Fonseca. The meeting of more than 2.5 hours only concluded at 12:30 this afternoon. Interestingly, only Minister Gamini Jayavikrama Pereira commented on the meeting with Wickremesinghe.
The decision we reached is for a date to be fixed for Minister Sajith Premadasa to meet with the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister would be speaking with Minister Premadasa and thereafter in talks with us. We will ask him to decide who would be the Prime Minister, the President, Party Leader and the post of Chairman. following which we will carry forward the force created by the late J.R. and Premadasa back in 1977. We have three personalities, Ranil, Sajit and Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. With these three with us, we will have the strength to move forward.
After the meeting, Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka was seen entering temple trees and leaving moments later.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya stated he does not intend to be a part of a power struggle. The media unit of the Speaker stated Speaker Karu Jayasuriya made this statement in response to a request made by a number of civil societies that met him today.
A communique released by the media unit of the Speaker stated that heads of more than 40 leading civil organizations had met with Speaker Karu Jayasuriya and requested him to take up candidacy at the upcoming presidential elections. The communique states that the representatives of the civil organizations had expressed their faith in Karu Jayasuriya and requested him to take up leadership in the fight against fascism and the upcoming presidential election. Responding to this request made by the representatives of the civil organizations, Speaker Karu Jayasuriya had said that he does not intend to be party to a power struggle. The Speaker said that he will only consider the request made by supporters of the UMP-led alliance based on the condition that they will unite and move towards one goal.
Certain individuals have become professors by obtaining doctorates through unofficial deals. There are certain individuals who used their citizenship to award contracts to their relatives. Certain individuals are like migrating birds. They spend 4 months in Sri Lanka and spend the rest of their year overseas. This is a trap. This is an attempt to pave the way for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to win. It's the same group that has authored both plays. I urge Karu Jayasuriya not to be the guardian of this group. We respect Karu Jayasuriya for his service. However, we urge him not to oppose the people's mandate and for what the people want. Do not go down in history as a people's traitor. If you are ready to serve the people, you must support the candidate who has the people's mandate. The general public has already chosen their candidate. It's the people who will select their candidate, not civil organizations or their members. The people of this country have already chosen their candidate.
චරිත කීප දෙනෙකුට බෑ. මේ රටේ ජනතාව මෙහෙවන්න. මේ රටේ ජනතාව තමන්ගේ අපේක්ෂකයා තෝරලා ඉවරයි.
Minister Mangala Samaraweera, speaking in Jaffna today, said the UNP had already chosen its presidential election candidate.
The people have already chosen the candidate for the United National Party. Wherever we go, the people call for Sajit Premadasa. The request was clear in Badulla, Matara and even in Kurunegala, which is also represented by Mahinda Rajapaksa. We witnessed the attendance of a record crowd in Kurunegala. When reaching the north by train, I was amazed to find the pictures of the work carried out by Minister Sajit Premadasa. Therefore, there is no need to have a selection for the UNP's presidential election candidate. The people have made their choice. We need to take notice of the people's request. We hope to launch the victorious election campaign. The minister made these comments upon reaching Jaffna by train for the Enterprise Sri Lanka program, which will take place from tomorrow to Monday.
A Dhamma school constructed under the Sisudaham Sevana program at the Putla Monaravava Sri Gunaratana Rama Vihare was declared open today.
The event was held under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction Sajit Premadasa. The building was constructed at a cost of 4 million rupees provided from the Central Cultural Fund. The project was carried out on the advice of the chief incumbent of the Vihare, Venerable Diyadora Methananda Thero.
Groups that oppose us in the opposition raise allegations that money is being wasted. This program is being conducted under proper conditions. I do not understand what they are doing. I must provide an answer to the people of this country. Will I continue the work that we have been doing all this time, or will we stop as per the request of our opponents? There is a question as to if we should continue the construction of these Dhamma schools or not. Who wants these programs to continue?
ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යා යුතුද නැද්ද කියන ප්‍රශ්නයට කරගෙන යන්න ඕනේ කියන කට්ටිය අත් උස්සන්නකො බලන්න. මම
I will not listen to these envious crooks in the opposition who have no regard for religion. You do not have to be afraid. You make that crucial decision in November and December and support Sajith Premadasa. I, Sajith Premadasa, state that I will make your lives prosper in the future.
මේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස ඔබලට මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe declared open a new 3-storied building at the Badegama Pradesh Sabha in Gaul today.
This building was constructed at a cost of 87.4 million rupees under the Ministry of Internal and Home Affairs and Provincial Councils and Local Government. No one in the history of this country has spent as much as the money that was spent for the development of villages in the past 4 years. Every Grama Niladare division received at least 5 million rupees. I would like to state that the schools and buildings that we constructed in the villages were done in addition to providing this sum of money. We hope to double this level of development during the next 5 years. No government has worked for the villages as much as this government.
For a second day today, parliamentary sessions were interrupted due to the lack of government MPs being present in the chambers.
Certain orders under the Monetary Act were due to be taken up for debate today. However, the government requested for a postponement of the debate. This was met with strong condemnation from the opposition.
He has presented a proposal for the debate to be taken up tomorrow. We say that this cannot be done. This debate cannot be taken up like that. I request for that decision to be taken after considering the opinion of the House as to whether or not the debate should be taken up. Understanding orders, Honourable Speaker, even in the past, according to parliamentary traditions, if the House is not in agreement, there is a tradition where the permission of the House was sought. Please do not break this tradition. You are a person who is preparing to hold a respectable position in the future. Do not break this tradition by falling prey to these deceptions.
Item 2.
Why are you not calling for a vote on it? Why are you afraid of a vote? Are you afraid of a vote? There are only 3 people in the government. How can the government present a bill? Withdraw this. You are speaking because you will lose the vote. Take it up for a vote.
Put it to the House.
You should understand that 4 people cannot sustain the government. Given the current situation, you cannot continue parliamentary sessions. It is very clear that it is these 3 secretaries that are taking forward the parliamentary sessions. There are not enough people to take the government forward. If the government cannot resign and leave, at least hand this over to someone who can do this.
සභාව සැප්තැම්බර් 17 වෙනි දින 5 දක්වා කල්තබී යෝජනා කරනවා. කල්තබී යෝජනාව ගරු මුතුකාණන් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා ඒකත් නැහැ.
Yesterday, the passing of certain directives of the Sri Lanka Export Development Act was postponed due to the lack of government MPs in Parliament.
The general public of this country spends a sum of 4.5 million rupees every time Parliament convenes. However, yesterday and today, parliamentary sessions were interrupted due to the lack of government MPs present in Parliament. This is a complete disregard to the people's mandate given to these parliamentarians who are elected. These members of the legislature are supposed to fulfill their duties inside Parliament instead of making promises and creating fantasies outside of it. but their lack of presence in parliament is a complete waste of 4.5 million rupees of the general public's money that has been spent for parliament to convene per day. The general public of this country will get another opportunity to elect a new parliament, and when the public is making that decision, it is quite important and apt that the public remember the actions of these MPs who were not present in Parliament today. We have heard in the past as well the lack of quorum interrupting parliamentary sessions and causing Parliament to be adjourned to another day. Every time Parliament is adjourned due to the lack of quorum, due to the lack of government MPs in Parliament, it is a complete waste of 4.5 million rupees of the general public's money. And the public will and must remember this when they make their options in the coming elections.
A
minister is given 2 official vehicles. 8 MSD security officers are assigned to each minister. They receive a fuel allowance of 150,000 rupees. There are 15 employees working in the minister's office. 5 of the 15 receive vehicles and are given a further maintenance allowance of 15,000 rupees each. 5 employees are given a phone, for which a cost of 8,000 rupees each will be allocated by the ministry. The minister will be given houses in Colombo, and their water bills will be paid for by the government. They are only charged 1,000 rupees, and they even receive overseas trips and other perks and benefits.
An emergency meeting between the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party took place this evening.
The emergency meeting took place at the opposition leader's office in 2 stages. Representing the SLFP in the first stage were the General Secretary of the party, Dayasri Jayasekara, Professor G.L. Piris, Basil Rajapaksa and Dallas Alaha Peruma represented the SLPP in the first stage of the meeting. Thereafter, another round of discussion started with the attendance of the presidential candidate of the SLPP, Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
There is clear progress in our discussions. As the SLFP, we are hoping to continue the discussions till we come to an agreement. We will unite for a campaign that will develop and protect our country while safeguarding the identity of the SLFP. No, the candidate will be appointed based on the content of the letter sent by us. When the chairman of the National Elections Commission asked us whether we are presenting a candidate or not, we sent a letter after holding talks with the president and everyone else, citing we will put forward a candidate. We have a positive outlook on everything. If the discussions end up in a negative manner, the country and the SLFP supporters should know we have an alternative up our sleeve.
මේ රටේ ජනතාවත් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයනුත් දැනගන්න ඕන.
There is still more time. The nominations have not been called for. There is time. President Maithripala Sirisena did everything in 40 days. We have ample time.
ඒකන පුදුමාර සහායක ලැබෙයි කියලා විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවද නිදහස් පක්ෂයෙන්? විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා. ඔබතුමා පළවෙනි සැරේට තමයි සාකච්ඡාවට සම්බන්ධ වුනේ. ඔබතුමාගේ යෝජනා මොනවද?
නෑ මම ඉතින් ප්‍රේක්ෂකයා වශයෙන් සාකච්ඡා කරන්නේ. දෙසලක් දෙපක්ෂයත් එක්ක සමාගම.
ඔබතුමාගේ අදහස මොනවද සාකච්ඡාවට එකතු කරලා?
මගේ සාකච්ඡාව මම ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ අවශ්‍යතාවයන් ගැන අහුම්කම් දුන්නා. ඊට පස්සේ පක්ෂයත් එක්කත් ඒගොල්ලෝ සාකච්ඡා කරන්නට ඕන. ඒ අනුව තමයි ඉතින් තීරණයකට එන්නේ.
මහලකම්තුමා කිව්වා ආයතනවල කතා කරන්න වෙනවා කියලා සම්පූර්ණ සාකච්ඡා.
නෑ ඉතින් ඔව් කතා කරන්න වෙනවා. කතා කරන එක කරන්න එපා දිගටම.
ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයෙන් අපේක්ෂකෙක් යොමු කරනවා කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට කොහොමද බුදු පාණ්ඩේක බලපාන්නේ දැන්?
නෑ ඒකම හිතන්නේ. නෑ එහෙම යොමු වෙන්නේ නෑ මම.
නෑ මෙතන කොමසාරිතුමාට දන්නවලා තියෙනවා යොමු කරනවා කියලා.
ඒවා ඉතින් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අහපු ප්‍රශ්න වලට උත්තර දෙනෝනේ හැම පක්ෂයකින්ම ඇහුවම හැම පක්ෂෙම කියනවා ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා කියලා.
Deputy Chairman of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, Thilanga Sumudipala, commented on the possibility of forming an alliance with the SLPP.
The SLFP registered as a party to contest the upcoming elections. However, we are yet to make a final decision. We must first understand our current political situation to proceed with discussions. I don't believe that the SLFP will agree to present a candidate under the SLPP logo. The SLPP is embarking on this journey only because of the trust, the honour, the charisma and the guidance given by Mahinda Rajapaksa. Mahinda Rajapaksa lost the election by only obtaining 47% against a backdrop where he had the executive powers and two-third majority, having the Triforces, having done a massive development, and against a backdrop where he put an end to Prabhakaran and won the war. Therefore, if someone can argue there is another person apart from Mahinda Rajapaksa who is more charismatic, more talented and loved by the people in that party, I have to say those people do not understand politics.
මිනිස්සු ආදරය කරන තව යම් කිසි සමාජිකයෙක් ඉන්නවා කියලා මං හිතන්නේ එයාට දේශපාලනේ තේරෙන්නේ.
Presidential candidate of the Janaseta Peramana Venerable Batharamulla Silaratana Thera filed a complaint with the FCID today over financial malpractices alleged to have taken place at Sri Lanka cricket.
All of them are looting and committing theft in broad daylight wearing a suit and tie. Money was moved to overseas bank accounts. The country is destroyed. The broadcasting rights were purchased by a businessman based in Kiribatgoda. There were issues concerning the sales as well. In some international news now, Robert Mugabe, who ruled Zimbabwe for 37 years and plunged the southern African nation into political and economic chaos as he violently clung to power, has died.
Robert Mugabe was a Marxist guerrilla who came to power as the elected Prime Minister in 1980 after the country won its independence from Britain. Though Mugabe made a promising start calling for reconciliation and improving access to education and healthcare for all citizens, his early policies were overshadowed by what followed. He became an international outcast as he faced accusations of rigging elections, suppressing dissent and triggering an economic collapse by condoning the seizure of white-owned farmland. In 1982, Mugabe began a military crackdown in his rival's western stronghold, which reports estimate claimed about 20,000 lives. Support for Mugabe ebbed as the economy floundered. Zimbabwe, which once enjoyed an abundance of natural resources, a booming agricultural sector and a wealth of human capital, was destroyed during Mugabe's 37 years of power. A quarter of Zimbabweans are currently in need of food assistance and 72% live in poverty. Within a generation, Mugabe has turned an entire country upside down. But the way in which Mugabe has brought Zimbabwe to its knees is through gross economic mismanagement. The economy never fully recovered and is now in the doldrums. When Mugabe fired his vice president, the military turned on him and the vice president returned from a brief exile and took over the presidency.
Taking a look at another one of our local stories, a revelation made by Newsfirst on a previous occasion was exposed in court yesterday. This relates to the attempt made by Jehan Amratunga to secure a massive loan for his private business from People's Bank while he was serving as director of the same bank.
Compared to 2016, in 2018, there is 895 million in defaulted loans. 10 corporates had their loans restructured on 219 separate occasions. CML Construction Limited had done it on 31 occasions. What we can see is the defaulted loans are greater than before and the ratio is also high. Adequate data was not submitted to the Auditor General for an analysis.
Yes, there was an increase in the bank's total irrecoverable debt. With regard to companies such as CML, due to certain issues which took place in the construction industry, these companies are facing several constraints to repay their debt.
The issue here is the list of companies for restructuring debt has never changed. It's been the same ever since I was a member of CORP. For instance, a director of CML Mtd Construction Private Limited named Jehan Amratunga was a member of the board of People's Bank. While serving in the board, he also served as the deputy chairman of Walker CML, a director of MTD Walkers and a director of CML Mtd Construction Limited. Against such a backdrop, due to default in payments, the bank transferred the loans of Walker CML to the irrecoverable debt category. By the 27th of August 2019, 3.3 billion rupees was given out without proper collateral. So does that mean the member of the company was used as a collateral for this transaction?
CML Ltd is a listed organization that has been in Sri Lanka for a very long time. We assume that the existence of this company will be professionally managed.
When the bank is unable to recover the debt, they simply write them off. Is the same policy adopted when granting loans for the general public?
In terms of Sri Lankan Airlines and Mihin, we received some pressure from the government. However, we received a guarantee in return.
News First uncovered this matter for the first time on the 30th of July 2018. Since then, on a number of occasions, we exposed the matter, stressing on the repercussions the state banks will have to face in the future.
And in sports news, a 5-wicket haul by Sri Lankan pacer Lasith Malinga put the host in a commanding position against New Zealand in the third T20 international currently underway. Chasing a target of 126 runs, the visitors were 38 for the loss of 5 wickets a short while ago.
Yes, that's a confirmation. Brilliant review. Sri Lanka got on the lights on.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News for tonight. To be updated with all the stories we brought to you tonight and plenty more, log on to www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Tharusha Kumar Singha.
And I'm Arundhati Mudannaika. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.